Is there anything he wants to say to the world?
أي رسالة توديها للعالم؟
والله الشعب اليمني مظلوم.
The Yemeni people has been insulted and they live without justice.
Let's talk about what's going on in Yemen.
Our world's poorest country.
For 6 years, Yemen has been stuck in a bloody civil war between the Saudi-supported government forces and the Iran-backed Houthis.
The war in Yemen has basically been a stalemate for the last 6 years.
How old are you?
13 years old.
You're 13 years old and you want to fight?
Yemen is in the midst of the world's worst humanitarian crisis.
The lack of fuel entering Yemen impacts everything. Clean water and electricity are harder to come by. Health facilities run on limited power.
Unfortunately, the stalemate that we've seen for so long appears to be shifting now in 2021, and it's not for the better, it's for the worse.
Yemen, a trip 3 years in the making. And now the time has finally come.
If the politicians will reach to an agreement, the war will be over.
Salam alaikum.
The Arab world's poorest country.
Shukran.
Humanitarian and economic crisis.
Why do you like dancing so much?
I like dancing because I feel free.
Understandable that people are scared to come here. I was. Let's hope that changes in the future. So coming to you from the country of Oman, today we're going to be crossing the land border into Yemen. Yemen, of course, is a country that's facing a horrible war and has been for some time. It's also facing the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Horrors going on there. Of course, we're going to go in with an open mind, see what people we can meet, talk to them, see what it's like on the ground from their perspective. Not too sure how it's going to be like filming there. I know some areas are extremely dangerous, some a bit more stable. We've got local people on the ground that are going to be looking over our backs. I've wanted to go there for a very long time, so today's the time to realize that dream. Hopefully we can get across the border. Let's see what the day has in store for us. Wish us luck. About a 2-hour drive through the desert, and then we will get to the border, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so we've successfully crossed the border. It wasn't easy, tell you about in a second, but yeah, just look at the landscape here. Now this is definitely not what I expected. When you think of Yemen, you think of flat desert, but here we are in the mountains with mist coming in, and there's camels walking up the road. It's quite a beautiful scene. And then we have the Gulf of Aden over here with a nice little settlement here. Definitely a lot more raw than on the Omani side. Really beautiful so far. This is our first glimpse of like civilization. But yeah, crossing the border was super intense. When we got to the border, we were questioned by the Oman side. He was saying, why are you going to Yemen? It's really dangerous. He said he would never go there, he's never been. That was the Omani intelligence officer that took me inside and questioned me for half an hour maybe. Very nice guy, but he just seemed really concerned of why I'd be going to Yemen, and he's saying, don't you know there's terrorists there and things. Anyway, he ultimately led us through, and then we met our fixer on this side. You'll meet him through the trip. Then we had to go through the Yemeni side of the border, and that was, you know, the buildings, the difference between the buildings of the Omani and the Yemeni side. The Yemeni side was much more run down. I mean, that's to be expected. But then there were 2 people trying to block us from getting in, and apparently they almost tried to block our other permit from at midnight last night, and then it had to get changed again to the 3rd permit that we've already received, so it's very complicated. Anyway, and then they tried to block us again, but ultimately we got through. So yeah, here we are in Yemen. We're gonna keep driving up the coast. Today's like a bit of driving, but we'll see what we can see on the way. First impressions are a lot different look than I expected. You know, you think desert like I say, but so far not like that. Anyway, won't hold up these guys anymore. This is the van we're traveling in the background, and we'll get on the road.
One name was the name of a man, the name of vaccination.
So we've been driving along the coastline. It's absolutely spectacular. Again, not expecting this at all. Absolutely beautiful coastline with the mountains, huge cliffs, and then this turquoise blue water, and it's overcast. I can't imagine on a sunny day what this water looks like. But you can see these sand mounds here, and there's thousands and thousands of crabs running from hole to hole. They're making the piles, digging up the holes. We just saw a dead turtle on the beach, a big turtle, so interesting wildlife so far, you know. Spectacular scenes here, absolutely surreal landscapes, and then these sand mounds, beautiful. We've been through a few villages, very raw, very interesting. I think they use a lot of the rocks from the hillsides to build houses and things. There were shops running and there were local people building new houses, quite bustling little places. We're going to continue along the coast now. We're going to see more villages. Hopefully we're going to stop in some of them, meet some people possibly, if, you know, we've got to be careful. But so far, really captivating place. Naturally beautiful. Not a desert at all so far, you know. So let's continue. See what we can discover in Yemen. It's taken me by surprise big time so far. Okay, so we've just pulled off the side of the road here with Kais, who's going to be looking after me here in Yemen, right?
Yes, sure.
Cool, and we've bumped into a local man here. And so you're fishing today?
Today they went to the sea.
Okay. Any luck with the fish?
حصلتوا سمك؟
ما شاء الله جبنا تقريبا 50 كيلو.
50 kilo. They have growth.
The fishing is enough to like keep life going and
هلا صيد الاسماك بكفي للدخل المعيشة.
اصبح الان كل شيء غالي. الدب البترول من ده.
Sometimes they bring fish, sometimes they can't. And the thing that it's killing them, it's the black market of oil. It raised the price of the petrol in Yemen.
Right, so like for the boat motors.
For the boat, yes.
How is life generally here? Because if I turn on the news in my country, it paints a bad picture, right? But how is it, at least in this part of Yemen?
الحياة من ناحية في بعض يعني حالتهم صعبة.
Some people they live a really rough life, not really good.
يعني مصدر عيش من البحر الآن.
The only income they have is from the sea.
What would you like to see change to make life a bit easier?
عن اليمن بشكل عام.
I want to see the change in the entire Yemen.
من ناحية الحروبات إن شاء الله الحروب توقف.
And the war should be ended, all the wars.
يسدوا يعني الأطراف اليمنية من الصراعات اللي ما منها خير.
And all the politician sections should agree on for peace because they don't make any good.
لأنها كلها سياسة يعني الشعب هذا اللي هنا صراحة ما له أي علاقة بالسياسة ما له علاقة أي بحاجة.
It's all about politics and the people here has nothing to do with the politics. Yeah.
شكرا.
ألف شكر. أعطيني رقمك وأنا برسل لك.
أول مرة يعني.
It's the first time in has interview.
All right, you did very well. Good.
I will send him the link if you don't.
Yeah, of course.
اسمه لحم الكاموميت.
Okay.
Maybe you try.
Yeah.
It's really good. Welcome home, everyone.
Shukran.
Have fun.
Good morning to another day here in Yemen. 6 in the morning. We're heading off early because we've got a long day today, lots of driving, lots of checkpoints and stuff, so that's why I have to set off early because you never know how long they might question us and things. We arrived at this hotel last night and had some food, then went to sleep, but you could see the roads have drastically changed, much more like what you would expect to see, long desert roads and things, and I think it's going to be more of that today. But we're going to see many more varied landscapes as the trip goes on, and we're going to meet more people. So without any more talking, back on the road we go, see what we can come across in this increasingly fascinating country of Yemen. It is a bit nerve-wracking here, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It can be tense at times, so we've got to be on our toes and just, you know, be ready for whatever. Anyway, let's head down the staircase and jump in the car and get on the road. Is this the main type of sports in Yemen, or is it more this? شكرا.
صيني؟
ها؟
صيني ولا فراني ولا ايش؟ ولا روسي؟
Country?
جنسية؟
نيوزيلندي؟
نيوزيلندية.
Super long drive, been going for a few hours now and still a third of the way there or so, yeah, we'll keep trucking. It's a big day here. Very mountainous, I must say. There are a lot of flat areas, but definitely a lot of mountains here. It's quite beautiful. Actually, the highest mountain in Yemen is, I think, 3,500 or so meters. I was not expecting to see a mountain that high in Yemen.
تعالوا صاحب المزرعة. يا عيبة. ها. جاهز. أيوة. أربعة. كم منهم طارق؟
How much?
All together, like with these girls, 10,000 riyals.
Okay, so $10.
Like $10. Yeah.
Is there anything he wants to say to the world?
أي رسالة توديها للعالم؟
والله الشعب اليمني مظلوم.
The Yemeni people has been insulted and they live without justice.
والله صراحة الشعب اليمني مظلوم وحكومة برا ووضع منتهي للآخر.
The government is outside and the people are struggling and the government just like outside the country.
السلعة غالية عندنا، يعني توصل لها لحد 100 ريال سعودي، يعني 100 ريال ب20,000 سلعة واحدة.
Many products it gets expensive and one product could cost 100 Saudi riyal, which is like 20,000 riyals and more.
Like what, for example?
مثل ايش؟
مثل رز، القمح.
Rice, wheat.
Basics to live.
Yeah, exactly. يعني الأشياء حق الحياة.
الأشياء الحياة متعبة هنا.
The things for life is really struggling.
And what do you think needs to change?
ما هو الذي ممكن الناس تغير فيه؟
أنا ودي الحكومة ترجع للوطن.
We want the government to return back home.
شكرا.
الله يكون معك.
يلا حياك.
So we've been driving through the desert for what, like 5 hours or so far?
Yeah. almost 5 hours.
Big day across the desert, but we've come to a fuel station. Can you like roughly just outline the petrol situation here, because it's quite interesting?
Well,
right?
since the war, which started 26th of March 2015 until today, and Yemen is getting oil from inside and mostly from outside. Especially for the north, they are getting the oil from outside.
Where does the petrol come from?
من وين بيجي البترول؟
من حضرموت ومأرب.
From Hadramaut and Marib, from the north and south.
Didn't you say some petrol comes from outside the country?
Yes. في بترول بيجي من خارج صح؟ من وين؟ إيراني.
It comes from Iran. Okay.
Yes. And the situation still it's complicated. It's an issue of economy. The war against Yemen, to be honest, it's a war against Yemen, which is in the north. The United Nations is doing a bad game.
Okay.
Oil is smuggled, sometimes they buy from outside. Sometimes Oman is giving oil shipment as gift to help, which is good.
Humanitarian aid.
Yes, and you heard the man, how is the different in prices in oil.
Right.
How come government didn't even set up the price of oil?
Right.
Which doesn't make sense at all.
So basically, when you pull into a petrol station, you never know what the price is going to be.
You need to ask first.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's like that.
What's like? Can it get like really high sometimes?
It goes to, they call it the black market. It's a place where we need to get it from another place. It's on bottles, like 20 liters will cost $20.
Right. So obviously, the further they bring it from, the more expensive.
We see the source of the income of the average income of the people, they cannot afford it.
Right.
That's why you see a lot of destroyed cars like the one behind you.
Yeah.
But barely they could afford oil.
And what's like the cheapest the petrol gets to?
The cheapest it's from the country, but still the government is raising it. Okay. And the exchange rate is killing people.
Right.
The exchange rate in the north, $1 is 600 riyal.
And here it's 1,000.
Exactly, 1,100 now.
Okay.
Yesterday it went up 30 riyals or more.
Wow.
Which doesn't make sense at all.
And what was it like at the start of the war? What was the exchange rate?
Before the war?
Yeah.
It was $1, 200 riyals.
Okay.
North or south.
So mass inflation.
If the politicians will reach to an agreement, the war will be over.
So we just arrived at this hotel. I'll show you around in a second. It's a really nice hotel actually. But to get here we had to go through a really, really strict military presence. So many checkpoints. Apparently we were lucky. There was only one checkpoint where we had our paperwork checked for about half an hour. But the rest of them only took like 5 minutes maximum. Apparently it takes hours longer normally. So we're really lucky to have arrived early. Pretty surreal. Super strong military presence and military bases, lookout towers. Tanks and heavy armored vehicles and things. I couldn't film for so much of the road, and I had to keep like putting the camera down and getting it out of sight. So it is, it's quite tense at times, but here we are in this beautiful hotel, and I'll give you a tour, and then we're going to go grab some dinner. Quite the drive today and yesterday. That's 2 days driving. Majority of it through the desert, but the start was, in the mountains by the coast, and then some desert mountains, and then a lot of flat. Roads aren't the best, but we made it. Okay, so here we are in the hotel room. Here's Jordan. Jordan's like a huge part of why I'm here. We've been trying to come since like 2019, right? So it's good to be finally here. How's your first impressions of Yemen?
So far I've been enjoying it, but it's a lot of things I didn't expect as well.
Right.
And I think we have a few more days, right, to explore and just see the other sides of Yemen.
To get into this hotel, it's super strict security. They go around the car with a pole with a mirror on it, so they can see if there's any bombs underneath the car. And you also have to come through like a security area, like a scanner and a bag, X-ray machine and everything. So yeah, definitely somewhat tense atmosphere, but it's nice as well. Very nice people. Oh. Okay, well I think I'm stuck in an elevator. Oh, it says out of service.
5 minutes later.
That was quite scary. Here's the lobby area. Big chandelier. Reception. Nice guys here. And this is where we're having dinner very soon. So look at this view. I mean, of course, let's not forget where we are. We're in Yemen, a country, you know, facing the world's worst humanitarian crisis. But I think it is interesting to see both sides of the country, you know. So here's the swimming pool and the dining tables and a beautiful view right there of the sea. There's a private beach.
We might just get that then.
2?
2? No, I think just 1 is fine.
No, come on. No, I'm serious. Order other things. Saban, it's the name of the gin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's down on the private beach of the hotel, and they've got barbed wire along the perimeter and a wall that goes actually quite far out into the sea. So we just finished up with a nice dinner here in these windows, and again, it's quite surreal to be in Yemen in a very nice place like this, and obviously we can't forget where we are. But you know, we also have to be safe. So that's the first 2 days in Yemen. You know, we'll see you in the next video. More exploring. We've got some really cool things planned. We had to drive so much to get to this part of the country. We're more in like central south Yemen at the moment because we were supposed to fly into this region, but we got denied. Permits got wiped, so we had to get new permits and enter from the Oman border, so that's why it worked out that way. But you know, still cool to cross the land border actually. It's definitely a mind-expanding trip. I've wanted to come here for 3 years now. Huge thank to Jordan from America. He's really helped me out big time getting here, so big thanks to him. And Kais is a great local guy, so we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from a swimming pool in Yemen.
If the politicians will reach to an agreement, the war will be over. Oman is doing very good work, trying to put all the politicians to sit on one table and make peace talk, and in reality, not in speeches.
Right.
To make the people feel peace and live peace, not just sign it and next day turn against it.